Hey, welcome to Reviews on the Run. We've got your favorite boxing promoter and your favorite barbarian in one show. Today on Reviews on the Run, Jose and I are taking a look at Don King Presents Prize Fighter, The Age of Conan Hyborian Adventures, Death Jr. Root of Evil, and it versus its target terror against Heavenly Guardian. All right, before we get cooking, we got to reintroduce our good friend here, Jose Sanchez, Don Fubar, humble king of the world. And as soon as Don King gets to know you, you are going to be gangbusters, baby. You'll be all over the world.
You got Don King, the Don, who runs the kingdom of the world, all together in a big spectaculosity event.
It is spectaculosity.
It is. It's so impactatious.
It really is.
It's so vertifortuitous.
We're talking about Don King Presents Prize Fighter. This is Don King's boxing game. I don't think he's done another one before, has he?
I don't think so. I remember the idea was thrown to him a couple years back,
right.
But it took about 8 years to fruition.
Well,
to fruitify.
Anyways, yeah, he's quite the character, and obviously synonymous with some pretty high entertainment in boxing. So synonymous. I think it's a pretty good fit for, you know, to conceptualize a video game based around this guy.
Well, you would figure if anybody knew anything about boxing, it would be the Don himself.
Yes. Well, this game is, it's not unlike Rocky Balboa and the Rocky boxing games.
On the Xbox.
I think it's made by the same company, Venom Games, I'm pretty sure. But it feels just like that. It feels
just like those games.
Which is
not a good thing.
Well, it's a blessing and a curse because I actually like the gameplay in those, which is, you know, very accessible, arcadey.
I loved it because back in the Xbox, it was like, all right, you know, it was Rocky too. You know, you got the Rocky license. Now you got the Don license.
But the problem is
that Fight Night came out a couple years ago.
3 really screwed it up for anybody that's trying to make a boxing game to compete. Fight Night didn't come out. This would almost look like a next-gen boxing game.
Almost.
I mean, not quite.
I mean, you getting in there, and it's just like, well, that doesn't look like Fight Night.
No.
This was better than Fight Night.
I know. I mean, and it really starts with the boxer's animations and the sense of the tactile. Yeah. I mean, there are so much wiffle ball in this sucker. You know, the boxes totally going through each other. I mean, their collision problems are ridiculous.
You know, Fight Night even Fight Night had a little bit of collision problems, but it wasn't as bad.
No.
Like when you punch a guy in Fight Night, you knock him out. You get the face.
It's still amazing. I mean, when Fight Night Round 3, and this is not the Fight Night review, but when it came out, that really defined and said...
Can we just re-review Fight Night?
Well, it said, this is next-generation gameplay. This is what it means. This is what it's going to be like. And when we played that game, all of us, you included, I know what we're talking about here, we all said, oh my God, this is incredible.
This is what next-gen boxing should be.
If you're making a game 2 years after that game...
You should at least look and take notes.
At least be as good. Yeah. You know, as good as a game from 2 years ago. Now this is honestly not as fun as the Rocky games are because the Rocky games had Rocky in them. I mean,
you got all kinds of real-world boxers in there.
No Rocky Balboa, but you get Ken Norton and Joe Louis and Rocky Marciano.
And the presentation, though, overall, like the way they tell the story, loved it.
It was okay.
It was kind of
cool,
like,
cute.
You know, they're making you out to like you were this famed guy, and this is how you came up. At least they did it with real-world people.
Well, they did it with video, and they honestly they could have stepped
Mario
it up a
Van
little
Peebles
bit.
said I was the best.
Well, Brother Randall could box, but, you know, that was back in the day.
I like the idea of going to these video cutscenes to kind of tell the story as you progress and start winning fights and all that. Clever. Just the production quality isn't that great, and sometimes the acting's a little bit off. And it's interesting.
I like that part.
What I did like is the surprising, like, who the hell they're going to throw on screen next element of it. I think that's pretty good. But if they're going to dress it up with this movie type thing, you know, if they're not going to make a next-gen game and they're going to kind of package everything in this movie thing, make the movie kick ass.
Movie boxing.
You know, because it's pretty easy to hire the best crews in Hollywood to go make a great-looking movie. EA's been doing stuff like that for a long time.
Yeah, but I mean, I like in-game, like as your character progresses, you know, they give you like little missions to go win 5 fights. Or, you know, sometimes you have to fight a guy. Your left hand is hurt, so you can only use your right hand. And then they go to throwback modes, which kind of caught me off guard. This reminded me of when James Braddock, the Cinderella Man, fought in 1939.
That's pretty cool, where they have the sepia tone. Yeah. You know? The real meat of the game is the career mode, but you know, honestly, the fighting is just so unsatisfying that
there wasn't enough spectaculosity.
It is not spectacular enough. How do you say disappointing in Don King's? Disappointatious.
This game was full of disappointationist for the declaration of onomatopoeianism.
Yes, man.
I can only give this game a 6 out of 10.
That's what I'm giving it too. What he said. I love the riding on rails, get it? space shooters. I love them. I've always liked them. Panzer Dragoon, the Star Fox action. I even like the flying sequences, the space sequences in the last Ratchet & Clank game on the PS3, Future Tools of Destruction, which you should have if you have a PS3. This is called Aces of the Galaxy, which is a ride-the-rails space shooter that you can download on Xbox Live Arcade. Totally worth the purchase price, even though it doesn't really deviate much from tried and true gameplay standards that we played many times before. It's very arcadey, very pick up and play. You can cycle through a bunch of different weapons and basically blast at all kinds of stuff, avoid meteorites and asteroids. Beautiful HD special effects, which I love. The music is kind of kick-ass as well. This is just good stuff. There is some co-op play in there, so you can play with a buddy and try to beat the even tougher challenges in the game. This is definitely my cup of tea, or is it bag of tea, like Tommy likes to say. Aces of the Galaxy, 8 out of 10. Well, stick around, we got the Age of Conan Hyborian Adventures, a new MMO starring barbarians, right after this.
Spectaculosity.
Spectaculosity. They've been playing Kung Fu Panda on the DS. This is brought to us by Vicarious Visions, who are kind of the Kung Fu masters of making DS games. Last year they gave us stylus controls for the different combos that Spider-Man could pull off in Spider-Man 3. And this is kind of the same engine, the same kind of idea here. You play as Po the Panda Bear, who is a chubby, kind of doofus panda bear. You know, I've been described as that. But he basically learns all kinds of skills and proves himself to be a Kung Fu master. And that's what you're doing in this game. You're racing through, beating up all kinds of bad guys, finding some coins, doing some shopping, learning some new moves. It's not really going off in any divergent path. It follows the storyline of the movie quite well. And there are actually some voice performances from the film in the game, which is great. Graphics aren't that great. The sound does kind of drop out in some places and stuff too, but it's hard to fault this game. The design is pretty solid. Solid game. I'm giving Kung Fu Panda 7.5 out of 10. Welcome back. We found the Black Rocks of Hyboria here.
Yes.
Pretty ominous, isn't it?
You know, this reminds me a lot of my homeland. This Hyboria, Samaria.
Talking about the Age of Conan Hyborian Adventures.
Yes.
And this has been a long time coming from the guys at Funcom.
I couldn't wait, you know, as I said about this game and the guys in Sweden.
Conan is blowing up, man. The movie's on the way. The comic book's doing great. The Conan game that THQ did, buried treasure if you haven't picked it up. Yeah. Very cool game. And this is...
Trust me with your love, Conan.
This is one of the best MMOs I've ever played.
Dude, seriously?
It is really, really fun.
So easy to just jump in, boom, create your character. You can get your guy with all kinds of face paint, choose whatever class you want. You can be like a wizard, sorcerer, dude.
Yep.
Just a badass.
You can be a sneaky thief type dude. You can be a healer type dude.
You want to be a barbarian. You want to be a savage. You just jump in, boom, you get your wooden ore, hacking away at dudes.
But the difference with this game, as opposed to World of Warcraft and Lord of the Rings and stuff like that, is it's all about bloody carnage, and the combat is very satisfying.
Yeah.
It's not quite real time, but it's pretty damn
close.
Fun,
man. It's fun. You know, you're getting in there. It's not a whole bunch of different, like, what is it? Z? Is it? No, it's 1, 2, and 3.
That's the main.
That's your main start.
And then you earn other.
You unlock all the other numbers and some letters.
And then you can get extra ones as you go. And then really, it's all about combat and combos. You can string a bunch of stuff together. It's unbelievable,
dude. It's so much fun for a hack and slash game.
And an MMO is just.
There's some killer combos too. If you push, certain combo buttons, you get your force pushes actions. Like I thought it was Conan was one with a force for a second. Became a Jedi on me.
Well,
throwing
you
this
aren't
big
Conan,
giant.
That's
what I named my guy.
Did you name him Conan?
Yeah. Well, why the hell not? Right?
Oh man, everybody's gonna come after you. You know, other people play the game with you.
Let them come after me, because when they come after me, heads will roll.
It's like can't be Conan in the Conan game.
Can too. You can't
do it,
dude. I was Conan the Fubarian.
They're all gonna be Conan the Fubarian. That's good.
Yeah, right?
That's nice.
Yeah,
I like that.
Thanks.
You get a mic clink for that.
Mic clink.
You know, and this is one of those games, just like World of Warcraft did, where you take a look at the content within the game and how rich and how addictive it is and how compelling it is, and it keeps you there. The writing is great, the storytelling is great.
And the VO at the first part of the game?
But it shows that massively multiplayer, it's not there yet. But in the future, it's going to be... I honestly believe it's going to be the premier thing, man. Like, how do you compete with this much gameplay at your fingertips, you know?
Now we sound the bells of war. We shall call upon every strong arm and sharp sword to fight.
Great storytelling, great
it's
environments,
just fun
great
and
world.
easy, and it's quick. You can pick it up really
Addictive as
quick,
hell, yeah.
and you just can't stop playing until you get the ultimate loincloth.
Yeah, but one thing though that I will
package.
say, yeah, you get lots of cool loincloths and stuff, but you don't look cool enough at the beginning of the game. It takes a while before you start unlocking stuff.
That's what
and
happens.
your inventory slots are filled up too quickly.
Yeah. Well, that's
and you
because
don't
you're
get the
picking up
cool
useless
stuff.
gold teeth and bones.
Yeah.
And like, who cares?
Yeah, you're fighting dudes with awesome-looking weapons and armaments and stuff, and you kill them, and then all you can get is a gold tooth at the end of it.
You're like, I want his weapon.
Yeah. When you see a world filled with rich things, you want to interact with everything. You can't. There are invisible walls. There are barriers. There are things that you can't do.
You can climb up sides of mountains really easily, stuff like that. I mean, that's not a perfect game, but it's fun.
It's super fun, super accessible. What are you going to give Age of Conan Hyborian Adventures?
8 out of 10.
I'm going to give it an 8.5. Great stuff. When we come back, Death Jr. is on the Wii. Stick around.